Okay, so today we're going to be looking at multiplying fractions, which is 4.7 in our textbook. When thinking about multiplication of fractions, a good way of remembering what it means is to replace the multiplication sign with the word of. So, for example, 1/3 times 2/3 is the same as saying 1/3 of 2/3. So when we're multiplying fractions together, you're actually finding, for example, 1/3 of 2/3. So the fraction you come up with will actually be smaller than 2/3. Alright, so when we're multiplying fractions, this is actually one of the easiest things to do when we're dealing with fractions. You just multiply the numerators together, then you multiply the denominators, then if it's required, you simplify it. So I'll just do a couple of examples for you. 1 times 1 is 1, so we're multiplying the numerators. Then we multiply the denominators, so 2 times 3 is 6, and there's no need to simplify that one. Alright, this second one, 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. Now, these are both even numbers, so we do need to simplify this fraction. So when we simplify, we do the same to the top as we do to the bottom, so they both have to have a common denominator. So in this case it's 2, so 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the simplified fraction would be 2/5. Right, when we're multiplying fractions by a whole number, you need to change the whole number to a fraction, and then you can just multiply like we did previously using steps 1 to 3. So, for example, here we have 2, a whole number, multiplied by 3/4. So to change it to a whole number, we just put it over 1, okay? Because we know that 1 over 1 equals 1 whole. So 2 over 1 will actually equal 2 whole. So then we multiply together, 2 3s are 6. 1 times 4 is 4. Now this will need to be, this is an improper fraction, so we need to change it to a mixed number. So it'll be 1 and 2/4. And this is still not simplified down enough. They're both even numbers, so we need to go a bit further here. 1 and 2 will go into 2 once, it'll go into 4 twice. So it'll be 1.5. There's another procedure as well. You don't have to do this, but if you don't want to multiply big numbers or you don't want to simplify when you get the answer, a good idea is to cancel out before you multiply. Now you can only cancel out diagonally, so you can only cancel across this way or this way. Now you're looking at numbers that the numbers actually have to have common denominators so that you can cancel them. So in this example, the 2 and the 8 obviously are both even numbers, and you can divide that by 2. So 2 into 2 is 1, and then 8 divided by 2 will be 4. So that's the lowest you can take them down. So therefore the new sum would be 1/7 times 3/4. So then you can go ahead and multiply them together. 1 times 3 is 3, 7 4s are 28. And that's your answer. We can also multiply mixed numbers. Now, what we do when we multiply mixed numbers, we actually just change the mixed number to an improper fraction, and then we just multiply. So there's usually just one step before the normal steps that I showed you at the beginning. So in this case, got 1/4 times 8 4/9. So we need to change that 8 4/9 into an improper fraction so that we can then multiply them together like normal. Okay, so we've got 1/4 times, so 9/8 are 72, so it'll be 72 plus 4. So 8 4/9 equals 76 ninths. Okay, so then we multiply 76 ninths So 1/4 times 76 over 9. So 1 times 76 is 76. And then 4 9s are 36. Okay, so then we need to, this is obviously an improper fraction, we need to change it to a mixed number and simplify if required. So 2, I know I can tell that 2 times 36 would go into 76. So that'll be 72. So we have, so it'll be 2 times 36 is 72, and then we've got 4 left over. 4 over 36. They're both still even numbers, so we need to simplify together. 4 9s are 36, so 4 into 4 goes 1, 4 9s are 36. So the answer would be 2 and 1/9. Okay, now this is your chance to show me that you know what you're doing. And remember what I said before about not just looking at the answers. You need to make sure that you pause the video, do this for yourself, then you can figure out whether you really do understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so pause the video and then please do the sums yourself. All right, so hopefully you've had a go yourself, so then you'll be able to see that the answer for this is 1 over 72. And then this one, so we need to change that 6 over 1. 6 1s are 6. The answer for that one should be 2. All right, there's another one. Have another go. There's different concepts that you need to understand for these ones. All right, so the first one you could cancel out. So 4 and 12 here, the 4 and the 12, they're both even numbers. And we know that 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 4 goes into itself once. So that makes it easier to multiply. 3 1s are 3, 3 5s are 15. And we know when we know in multiplication tables that 3 5s are 15. So divided by 3 would be 5, and 3 divided by 3 would be 1. So the answer would be 1/5. Righty-ho, now this one, remember we need to change this to a improper fraction before we multiply this together. So it'll be 1/3 times, so 7 times 6 is 42 plus 6. So that would equal 48 over 7. And then we can multiply them together. So it's 48 over 21. And I know that 2 21s are 42. So that'll be 2 whole numbers. And 6 over 21. Now, that is actually not simplified right down. 3 can go into 6 and 3 can also go into 21. So 3 2s are 6, 3 7s are 21. So the answer should be 2 and 2/7. Hopefully you did well with that, and we'll be able to work on it more in class.